And help me invite onto the stage Liz Ricketts from the OR Foundation. Oh, I'm told it's our foundation. Oh, I see a standing ovation. I think we can do it better for her. You came with a number of goods. Thank you.
How's everyone? Hello. Wonderful, it's there. So yes, hi. Thank you all for sticking around after lunch. I want to thank the co-founders again, Henry and Samuel, so much for inviting us to participate, and welcome especially our esteemed guests from Contamonto, the retailers and tailors who are here in the room that hopefully you'll hear. Yes. So again, my name is Liz. I'm the co-founder and executive director of the OR Foundation. We're an NGO that is based here in Accra. And where do I point this? Which way? There. Not working. Perfect. So again, we're an NGO that's based here in Accra. We are a team of 60 full-time people and over 130 part-time team members. We started here in Accra in 2011. We did not start the OR Foundation because of textile waste. There was no textile waste on the beaches of Accra at that time. The beaches were quite pristine. We started the OR Foundation because we were inspired by the bespoke tailoring culture here in Ghana and believe that Ghana carries many of the answers that the global north needs to hear from when it comes to sustainability. Since then, we have grown to work in service of the Contamonto Markets community, which is really why we are all here today. Contamonto is the largest circular economy in the world, successfully recirculating around 25 million garments every single month through reuse, repair, upcycling, remanufacturing, and other techniques. It's unprecedented compared to any other platform elsewhere in the world. Unfortunately, there is no retail utopia. It will never be possible to find a home for every single garment that exists, especially when you are working with reuse. I think all of us in this room know this very, very well. And so there are garments that go unsold and leave the market as waste. Unfortunately, this amount has escalated over the last years because of fast fashion. The secondhand clothing trade is a business, we all understand that, and in this business, the operating cost for retailers working in Contamonto continues to rise, but the value of the product that they are purchasing has gone down, which means that whereas 10 years ago, a retailer might have purchased a bale and made enough profit off of selling first selection alone and use that profit to reinvest in rehabilitating the lower quality things, today there's not enough first selection in each bale and there is no profit to be made, which means that more of the clothing will leave the market as waste. The result is that most retailers are operating in a debt cycle. In recent research that we did in partnership with UNEP, we found that 87% of Contamonto retailers report operating in debt. So essentially, the challenge that we have is this fast fashion business model can be defined as a volumes over value business model. And it has essentially threatened to collapse the entire global secondhand trade. Contamonto Market has been carrying the burden of that much longer than any institution in the global north, which is why we are here to exist, to support Contamonto, to continue to be the resistance to fast fashion. So our mission as an organization is to catalyze what we call a justice-led circular textiles economy. We define that quite simply as a circular economy that prioritizes the prosperity of the people who have been made most vulnerable by the linear economy. And we do this in many ways. So one, we measure impact. We have an ecological research and remediation team that is out in the field, at the dump sites, at the beach, every single week, taking samples. We also have a beach monitoring team that's been running for over 3 years. In those 3 years, we've counted 4,182 textile tentacles. These tentacles can be up to 30 feet in length. And this is only across 7 kilometers of Accra's coastline. In terms of our water and air sampling, we've taken over 4,000 samples, water, air, sediment. We've also taken human samples, spit, urine, breast milk, and we found unprecedented levels of microfiber pollution in the local ecosystem and in the human body, 20 to 100 times higher than what has been documented anywhere else in the world. With this information, we are trying to respond most proactively by providing healthcare to Contamanto retailers. In our research, we found that almost all, 97% of retailers do not have access to healthcare. Not only is this a challenge in their daily lives, but with the increased pollution from textile waste, this becomes compounded. So we launched a program called Contamanto Healthcare Outreach, providing full-service healthcare. The pilot reached 139 people. We're already scaling this to reach 1,000 people this year, and the goal is to install an operational clinic in Contamanto in 2026. We also work to reduce impact, so we go out with our bare hands and remove this waste. We do this at the beach. We have a beach cleanup tomorrow for anyone who is interested at 7 a.m. at Jamestown Beach. We remove an average of 20 tons of textile and other plastic waste from the beach on a weekly basis. We could be doing much more than that, actually. It's just that we lack access to our own truck. My colleague David is there. Maybe he can stand up. Stand up, David, so they know how to find you. So if you'd like to join tomorrow at 7 a.m., please find David. We'd be happy to have you. If you're not aware, 20 tons is the equivalent of 6 elephants and 1,000 suitcases. So it's a tremendous effort that the team undertakes every single week. When we do our beach cleanups, we focus on holding the people accountable who should be held accountable, which are the brands. So we collect all of the tags that we find at the beach, and we communicate back to the brands that these are the companies that are most polluting Accra's beaches. These are the top 10 from the last year. We also believe that at the root of solving this issue is tackling overproduction. I don't remember who said it. Maybe it was Peter Allen, yes. You were calling for a reduction of 25%. We would call for a reduction of at least 40% of production. The industry is massively oversupplied, and we actually have no idea how many garments exist. The data indicates that there's between 80 to 150 billion garments produced every single year. That's a 70 billion garment gap. So the very least that the brands can do is publish their production volumes. So through this activity of counting the tags and letting the brands know, we have convinced over 100 brands at this point to publish their production volumes and are asking all brands, small, big, local, international, to do the same. Thank you. I don't know if we're clapping for the brands or we're I don't know if they need that. We are also working to clean up the dump sites that exist in and around Contamanto. So there's a canal called June 4th area that runs behind the market. We've cleaned this canal 3 times, which is the equivalent of removing 37 truckloads of waste, mostly textiles, from this space. We've now installed barriers, and we've created a task force within the market ecosystem to keep it clean. So we are now in the process of actually installing new bathroom facilities and creating a green recreation area in June 4th. In terms of the water quality, in our research, we found that the bacteria in Corley Lagoon has actually evolved to eat plastic waste. And so we are using nature-led solutions, working with nature to help her do what she is already doing best to try to clean up these ecosystems. And we have successfully taken water that was unsafe to even enter without a hazmat suit, and we have used nature, again, to clean that water to below EPA limits so that it is swimmable. Our mission is to make Corley Lagoon swimmable within the next 5 years. And then there's waste at source. So we have worked with market leaders, including one of them who's here today, to start a market cooperative waste picker team called Conta Keepers, which is collecting the textile waste, segregating it. Right now, unfortunately, there's not many off-takers here in Accra, so we are transporting that waste to Adepa, the local dump site that we have available to us, but we are now transitioning this cooperative to provide the Ore Foundation with feedstock for our recycling processes, as well as to start selling that feedstock to other off-takers. Now, we also have to be thinking about economic relief, because the debt crisis is the root of the waste crisis here in Accra. And so we have a fund called the Secondhand Solidarity Fund, where we provide over 2.5 million Ghana cedis in immediate relief to individual Contomanto retailers, whether this is providing a refund for the waste that they could not sell, or it's helping them pay for school fees or for healthcare bills. We also have a program for women working as kaye. So in the market, as I'm sure all of you know, a lot of the bales are head carried. These bales weigh 55 kilograms on average, which is their entire body weight or more. And this is labor that is detrimental to their health and can be fatal. And so we have successfully accompanied over 250 women out of this dangerous line of work and placed them in paid apprenticeships or in continued education, things like baking, carpentry, welding, as well as nursing and teacher training. And then when it comes to transforming waste, we are also working on that. So we buy waste back from the retailers, what they cannot sell. We set prices collaboratively with the retailers because, again, if debt is the root of the waste crisis, we need to make sure that we're paying adequately for the waste that we are collecting from the market ecosystem. We're making your typical products, pillows, mattresses, chairs, mops. But we also are building our own technology. So this is a shredder that was built 80% out of scrap metal and e-waste and is 100% built here in Ghana. All of the technology that we use to process textile waste is 100% built and operated in Ghana, most of it made out of other forms of waste. This is one of the products that we're now commercializing. It's called fiberboard. Many of you are familiar with it. Ours is made out of shredded textiles and cassava glue that, again, we make in-house. We can make furniture, speakers. We're selling the board as is to local construction companies and also making products like hangers, which are good for an international market. We do have 2 garment to fiber trials in the works, but I think it's important for all of us here to be very honest about the situation when it comes to fiber recycling. We have been approached many times by recyclers in the global north asking us to send them waste for free or for 10 cents a kilogram. Anyone who works in this business knows that you cannot clean the material, panel it, and export it for 10 cents a kilogram and have an effective business model. It does not work. So we decided to subsidize our own trials. These have been very difficult because even getting the material out of country has been a challenge with customs both in Ghana and in the receiving country. And again, the material that we are dealing with is what we consider true waste. It's not a clean stream that is easy to control. So in the meantime, while we wait for fiber recycling to come online and save us, we need to remember that sewing is also a technology. And we need to invest in the upcycling ecosystem here in Accra as much as possible, which is what we are doing. We have several incubation programs where we're working with tailors from the market, upcyclers, locally and internationally, to train them to improve their skills, to give them access to better technology, and to reach local and international markets. We also host the largest celebration of upcycling and thrift in the world. It's called Obruniwawu October. It's the last Sunday of October. You're all welcome to come. Last year, we saw 2,500 participants at that event. We've also hosted pop-ups in many different countries and launched Vestiaire Collector's first upcycled collection. And we operate a showroom here in Accra where we sell products, again, for the local market and international market, as well as provide workshops. We've authored the textile section for MESTI's Circular Economy Action Plan for the country of Ghana, and we serve as UNIDO's Circular Economy Center of Excellence Textile Lead, where we are preparing upcyclers to access $10 million in funding over the next 4 to 5 years. We've also taken many delegation trips from Continental to Europe and now to the UK and to the United States to advocate for extended producer responsibility policies to become globally accountable, meaning that we want the money that is being paid by brands in Europe, in the UK, in the US, as these policies come online, we want that money to be distributed to communities like Continental to support the work that is happening here and to ensure that Continental can build the infrastructure that is so necessary. Peter spoke about wanting to see a fee of 50 cents per kilogram. We would like to see a fee of 50 cents to $2.50 per garment when it comes to EPR. Because if there is not a big enough pot of money, then it will make it difficult for all of us to share those resources adequately. When we're talking about transitioning from a linear to a circular economy, we are talking about building an unthinkable number of recycling facilities, and it's going to be very expensive. So from our perspective, we need to buckle down, we need to see EPR as a transition policy, and we need to charge the fee that is due to build the infrastructure that is necessary, instead of trickling money for the next 20, 50 years. As we've already heard, there was a New Year's fire that happened in Kantamanto. As an organization, we were on site within a couple hours of the fire happening and are proud to say that we worked hand in hand with market retailers and leaders to get the market back up and running in less than 3 months. We did that by distributing individual relief. We distributed 2,500 Ghana cedis to over 9,000 individuals in the market. We also subsidized the cost of all of the lumber that was used to rebuild the market. We provided first aid support during the rebuild, and now we are working with the market leaders to establish a unified security and health force to ensure that there is no longer fire risk in the market. We are also very happy to say that for all of you who went to Kantamanto, you should have seen this underway, that we are installing electricity in every single stall. This will be the first time that every stall in Kantamanto has equal and safe access to electricity. And we don't just work in Ghana. We've conducted research and work with partners all around the world in receiving countries. We have a research project in 13 different countries looking at the intersection of economic and environmental challenges when it comes to fast fashion's textile waste. And we also provide funding to organizations all over the world. We prefer to provide unrestricted grants because we think that that is empowering to individuals and to organizations. And we provided over 30 unrestricted grants to organizations in 6 different countries, including not only here in Ghana, but in Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, South Africa. And again, just to sum up, our mission is to catalyze a justice-led circular textiles economy. So I think it's very important that as we finish out the day, we are thinking about not only material solutions, but how are we actually building equity? How are we ensuring that the people who have been purchasing these bales and shouldering the burden economically of recirculating all of these clothes are actually prioritized in that conversation? And with that, I'd like to invite Ruth, who's a retailer from Consumanto, to just come up. She had a statement that she prepared after being here this morning that she wanted to read.